So now that this season is over, the 2023 regular season is out. We're waiting for bowls, conference championships, all that jazz, right? So it looks like the SEC is now planning on dropping next season's schedule. So a little preview populated on ESPN. So y'all know we got to talk about it. Showed up yesterday. I wanted to get this out later, but earlier, but life happens. But anyway, we've got a lot to talk about in this situation. And so let's dive into what things look like as far as this 2024 schedule, the 2 games for Oklahoma that was announced, as well as let's talk about some of the other games and my thoughts. Because I think one of these games was a really, really, really bad idea. So let's jump into that. But before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. Let's dive into the schedule, right? So, and I'm going to also talk to you about a predicted schedule. Like we're all trying to figure it out. Shout out to the Mainline Pod. I joined them on the X Spaces about a month or so back and had a blast. And so, but they put out what they predicted the rest of the schedule looked like. And I want to break that down because the graphic is really good, but I think that there's some spots where I don't think the schedule's going to line up that way. But let's talk about what was announced. So the SEC, like I said, put out, they plan on pulling out the full slate here in December. And we got a portion of the slate that came down the line here on Monday. And so this is what it looks like schedule-wise. Now, the 2 games that Oklahoma is a part of that jumps out, of course, to all of us is Oklahoma and Tennessee. So Tennessee will be coming to the Palace on the Prairie September 21st, and Alabama travels November 23rd. 2 huge ones. One, Tennessee's been here. We did the home and home. What is that in 17 and 16 or 17 and 18 around that point? I know 16. You know what I'm talking about. Baker Mayfield was throwing the ball at that point. We went to Neyland Stadium and we came back. And for those that are uninitiated, Tennessee's my SEC school. Now I have to retire them since my Sooners will be going there as well. And, we'll just live that down. But Tennessee comes to Oklahoma on the 21st, and you got Alabama traveling here to the Palace in November. So it's going to be a cold game for the Tide because they get to come all the way over here right when winter decides it wants to show up. Now, it could be beautiful weather, but I think that that's intriguing to see that they put that game so late in the season. Now, here's my thoughts on the 2. I like Tennessee early. I think it's fine. We'll be able to establish our footing. We'll be going up against Nico Iamaleava. That's how you pronounced it, I remember. But we're going against Nico, their new starting quarterback there at Tennessee. And so you'll have him versus Jackson Arnold, who will be a young cornerback as well. And we'll be figuring things out together. And I feel like that's a good opportunity for us to really test where we are and go out there with a dub. Now, as you go down the schedule late in the season with Alabama, that concerns me late because Bama is infamous for showing up at the end of the season. That's usually when they get their footing and they really just bam, start showing out, right? So we're going to get Bama on the downward of their avalanche of what they play. Jalen Milroe is going to have an additional year of experience. And so we're going to have a lot of preparation and pray that attrition doesn't make us struggle in that game. I was hoping Bama would have been earlier in the season. I felt more comfortable with it there. Late in the season, I'm a little iffy on it now, but at the same time, it's a home game. It's a home game in weather that we'll be acclimated to, so I'm not too concerned, but it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun ride. So hop in the comments. Let me know what y'all thoughts on that. How do you feel about these 2 games that's announced? What do you think about us going up? I know a lot of people have been in the X Spaces and X tweets and everything talking about how there's some people that think that's a good record coming out of us. Some people think it's a bad record. Personally, I think that we'll be just fine going into the SEC. I'm just going to keep it a buck. Now, this is what my friends over at the Mainline Pod, as you can see, their graphic is here. Make sure that they get their credit. Go check them out here on YouTube. Do some great content, great live stuff. But this is what they have predicted for the home slate, right? So we're looking at the, let me see. We are looking at a weird schedule this year, right? So this is similar to 2019, where we're probably going to see 2 bye weeks. And I say that because of the way the schedule is lined up. The season starts like August 27th or 24th. Yeah, 24th. And then we play like a week later on August 31st. We'll have the Temple game. So the 25th, my bad. Math is really hard for me. 24th, I was right. 24, 7, 24. Yeah, 24th. Math is bad for me. Anyway, so as you can see here, you've got the August game here with Temple, Houston, and Tulane, which we already know were going to happen. Now Tennessee's added to that list. And so their prediction is they're expecting Ole Miss for us to travel to the Grove on the 28th. The Red River Shootout to be October 5th with the bye week. Then going down the line, our next bye week being the week before Maine and then Alabama. So there's a few things I disagree with in this. First and foremost, yes, this is, like I said, 2019 where we had like 2 bye weeks. I do not expect us to, how can I say this best? I don't expect us to play Texas. Red River won't be October 5th. Let's put it that way. If you're a season ticket holder, I actually had a season ticket holder send me a picture from their app, and it looks like it's slated for October 12th. And so my anticipation is a bye week's going to hit right there, probably October 5th. So the first week in October, we'll probably get the bye week. So we'll probably play 5 games, bye week, Red River. Makes sense, right? If a second one does populate, I'm sensing that second one to come right probably before Alabama. Now, usually the SEC way is to do this. You play a cupcake before a big game, which helps the bodies, helps with, not being banged up. So I can totally see if we play Maine before Bama, I think that bye week moves up to the beginning of November, and we play LSU before. And I say, or after. Yeah, before the bye week. Yeah. I'm sorry, after. You bye week, you play LSU, you play Maine, and then you play Bama. That is kind of how I was thinking, but I think we play LSU earlier in the year. I'm sensing LSU is going to be right after Tennessee. That will be the game we travel to first. Ole Miss moves into later in the season. Makes more sense to me. But I don't think this is too far off. I do think we end the season in Columbia, playing against Missouri, most likely around Thanksgiving. Totally makes sense for it to be then. Old school Big 12 and revenge or whatnot for one of us. Because, Missouri's been talking noise. But I do sense that makes sense for us to go there. And then, of course, South Carolina game, Auburn. I think those are kind of toss-ups time-wise. But I think LSU becomes early after Tennessee. And I think Ole Miss goes after. But you never know, right? So let me know what you think of this prediction from the Mainline Pod. I love the way they did this. Hop in the comments. Let your boy know what's your thoughts. Last thing I want to talk about is the schedule for the rest of these games, right? The schedule for the rest of the SEC that's notable, it's been put out there. So you have, as you can see here from ESPN, you've got Miami and Florida to start the season on 31st, like us. Notre Dame and Texas A&M is going to start. It's not too bad. Probably a neutral site game. So Georgia and Alabama is going to be the end of September, which is kind of crazy. Georgia's traveling to Tuscaloosa at the end of the season, which is wild in my eyes. And then you got Alabama, LSU, which within a 2-week span, Alabama plays Oklahoma and LSU, and it looks like we'll play LSU and Alabama if you go off the main line's prediction, right? Well, here's the one that I think is ridiculous. Georgia's traveling to Austin to play against Texas on October 19th. I'm just going to tell y'all now, that's probably one of the stupider, we'll just say that, stupider schedules that I've seen out there. That was a very bad choice. They should have moved that game earlier in the season, or they should have made that game sometime in November. And I'm going to tell y'all why. That is the exact same weekend as the Grand Prix F1 in Austin. So if you think it's going to be hard to get in town, imagine trying to figure out how to get a freaking hotel room in Austin. It's going to be dumb. Traffic's going to be stupid. It's going to be everywhere. It doesn't make any sense to do that. But That's what they wanted to do. So to me, if there's a game that I didn't like, it's that one. October 19th, that's a bad choice. Of course, the third Saturday in October is always going to be intact. Alabama traveling to Neyland Stadium this time, which I went to Tuscaloosa this year, and it was, Brian Denny's going to be dope. Cannot wait for Oklahoma to go out there in a couple of years. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. So looking at the way this is set up, yeah, it's probably... I love that A&M and Texas will hit the Thanksgiving weekend again. Bring it back, baby. Bring back that old rivalry. And Texas traveling to College Station, Elko's first year and everything. It's going to be some intriguing stuff. So that is what that notable matchups look like. Hop in the comments. Let me know what's your thoughts. Love to hear from you all in regards to that. If you've made it this far in the video, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Love to have you join this great family of college football fans. We are expanding the game, talking OU football and college football in general, trying to make sure we can grow and get us to 20,000 subs. Got to get to 20,000 subs so we can start working on doing this bad boy all the time for y'all. Love more shows, more content for you. I know a lot of people enjoy it. Obviously, we've got 12,000 subs. Tells you that people actually enjoy some of this. Our goal is to get you guys more, right? So YouTube says to check out one of these videos. I highly recommend it because I dropped it off for you. And we will talk sometime tomorrow. Peace.